Hello everybody and welcome back to the MUZ channel. Today in this video I want to start a new series called Beyblade Breakdown, and in this series I'm going to take any random Beyblade from any generation. So in this video I'm taking Super Hyperion, and what I'm going to be doing is breaking him down, or well it down, and giving like a sort of a brief description about the pros, the cons, and what makes each component good or bad. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to be giving my overall thoughts and opinions on the stock combo. So yeah, you'll know what I mean when I get into the video. It's a lot more simple than what I'm trying to make it out to be. But yeah, just do keep in mind that this is completely my own opinion, and that I'm only talking about stock combos here. So like I said, I'm doing Super Hyperion in this video, and I'm only talking about stock combo Super Hyperion. So the Super Ring, the 1A chassis, and the Exceed driver. Not talking about anything else. So without further ado, let's just get straight into this. So I'm going to start off by talking about the chip and core. Now I know the chip and core can determine how the blade bursts, but me personally I'm not entirely sure how it works. I'm pretty sure it does have stuff to do with the grooves, like if you have deeper grooves, it can go deeper into the driver, so it gives it better burst resistance, but that's about all I know, and I'm not exactly sure how to test that, so you're gonna have to find that somewhere else. But you know, so for me, I'm just gonna put this to one side because I don't really know too much about it, and I'm not going to pretend that I do. So I'm gonna put that to one side, and the next part I'm going to talk about is the Super Ring. Now in sparking, the most of the layer is this bit, the ring, and the Super Ring is a right spinning attack type ring. Now what's interesting about this ring is that it has two main points of contact with these two wings running parallel here, and then two slightly, well, very smaller ones in between them. It kind of reminds me of the Ace Dragon layer base, with the way it had two main points of contact, then two smaller ones. What's interesting about the Super Ring is the fact that it doesn't have any special gimmicks. It's literally just purely plastic, you know, contact points. There's no metal, there's no rubber, and there's no special gimmicks to it. What you see is what you get, basically. As you can see, these two contact points are quite big, and they are slightly, you know, slightly facing upwards, so it could give you some good upper attack and good smash attack. But I don't think bursting is this is the best thing for this ring. Like if you wanted to burst another bay, I don't think you would shape it like this. Like when you shape a contact point like this, it more seems like you want to go for upper attacks to knock the bay off balance, and ring outs as well. But for bursting enemy bays, I don't think this ring is going to be the best. But for knockouts, it will do pretty good knockouts. So, you know, it there you go. It has good knockout potential, but bad bursting potential. At least that's the way I see it. For those who are curious, it weighs about 6.48 grams, which is extremely light, even for a ring. In the sparking generation, it's very light. And like I said, it has no special materials or gimmicks about it. So the next part I'm going to be talking about is the chassis. Now Super Hyperion comes with a double chassis, that is 2A. Now 2A is very, very heavy. It comes in at around 46.1 grams. I know that isn't entirely accurate. It's more along the lines of 46.13, but you know, the scale that you have will probably tell you different, so I'm just saying around that point. But yeah, the 2A chassis is very heavy, and it does have 4 contact points. Yeah, so as you can see, the bigger blades are in between the contact points on the ring, so you could get some contact with the blades on the chassis. However, the smaller blades, yeah, I don't think that would ever make contact. Oh, actually, maybe they line up perfectly with here, so you get a good smash attack there. But like I'm moving back onto the chassis on its own, it's a very heavy chassis, so that gives Super Hyperion a lot of weight to put into attacks, which obviously makes his attacks very, very powerful. Now, I forgot to mention about the ring, that it is a right spinning chassis only. The ring is also right spinning only. So, yeah, there's that to mention. Putting this together now, as you can see, with double chassis, there's no disc, so it's just that on the driver, which I'll get into a moment. But yeah, just these two parts on their own, it's definitely quite powerful. The double chassis gives it a lot of weight and kind of reinforces the contact points on the layer. So the layer, or the ring, doesn't really provide that much attack potential in my opinion, but the double chassis definitely reinforces the contact points, which I think is great. So moving on to the final part, which is the driver, which of course is Exceed. Now Exceed obviously is sort of like a destroy slash extreme hybrid, where you've got a rubber flat and then surrounded by a plastic spinning plate. Plastic spinning plate will give you some life after death and a bit more control in the stadium, and obviously the rubber is obviously what makes it very, very speedy around the stadium. It's a speedy boy. Yeah, the Exceed driver is very quick around the stadium. Yeah, I'm gonna have some background footage up hopefully. But yeah, this driver is very quick around the stadium. It's very easy to do flower patterns as well with this driver. It's quite easy to control, at least compared to Extreme. Extreme was, you can never control Extreme, but this is easier as it is sort of that hybrid with Destroy. And this also, just like the layer, does give you a lot of attack potential because of the speed it can pick up in the stadium. So putting this whole combo together, Super Hyperion Exceed 2A. Obviously it has a double chassis, which means the teeth aren't really a big issue, as it is very rare that it will burst, but the teeth, I mean, if this was a single chassis bay like Rock Devore is, the teeth would be bad. So I would give the teeth maybe a 4 out of 10, but because it is a double chassis, you don't really need to worry about it bursting, as it's very difficult to burst a double chassis Beyblade. Let my camera focus. Okay. Like I said before, the contact points on the chassis definitely do reinforce the contact points on the ring, which does give it some really good hits. I don't think the ring on its own is that good, if I'm completely honest with you. If I was to predict what parts are going to be competitive now, I would say personally the only part that would be competitive is the 2A chassis. I don't think the Super Ring is that good on its own. It's got no special gimmicks. It's purely plastic. It doesn't weigh a lot. And when you compare it to something like the Brave Ring, there's no reason to use the Super Ring over the Brave Ring. But the 2A chassis is very, very heavy, and the contact points can reinforce your ring contact points, which again is a massive bonus. But putting all these parts together, again, you've definitely got a really powerful attack type that's very quick around the stadium, and you can have some control on. Like it's not just completely, uncontrollable around the stadium. You definitely can control this Beyblade. And if you really like attack types, then obviously you're going to love this one. It's definitely more focused on knockouts or ring outs than bursts, as it's an attack type, so obviously it's going to have an advantage against stamina types, but a disadvantage against defense types. With the sparking system so far, the only stamina and defense types you really have to worry about are Curse Satan, Fafnir, and Rock Devore, and Hyperion can easily take out Rock Devore, no problem. Fafnir, I haven't currently got Fafnir, so I can't say anything about him, but it looks like he does kind of struggle. But I've seen that in other videos, so I can't really say anything too much here. But anyway, back to Super Hyperion. My overall opinions on Hyperion is that he's a very strong attack type Beyblade, but I think he's going to get outclassed in future releases. Just like I think this guy is going to be the ace dragon of this generation, where he's always going to be good. In fact, I think Super Hyperion is going to be probably a high B tier Beyblade throughout this generation. But I definitely think he is going to struggle with future releases because of the ring, the being so light and having no gimmicks. It definitely holds the overall Bay back. If I had to give this Bay a rating overall, obviously that's very difficult to do because not all of the Sparkling Beyblades have been released yet, but I would probably give it maybe a 6 out of 10. Now, obviously, that can change depending on future releases, but right now, I'm giving Super Hyperion a 6 out of 10. It's definitely very powerful, but obviously, with it being a attack type, it lacks stamina, and it doesn't have the best ring, so yeah. Thanks everyone for watching my first episode of Beyblade Breakdown. If you liked it, please give me a like. It really helps fuel my ego. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye.